Good evening, good afternoon, good night, and good morning. Thank you for tuning in to RETV News Break. I'm Tyren.
And Nicole with your weekly RETV News Break. Every week, Ty and I bring you news, trends, and more with a positive spin. First up, another Black woman making history. A Jackson State alumna has made history as the first Black woman to earn a biomedical engineering Ph.D. from Vanderbilt University, JSU News reports. Carson is a native of Terry, Mississippi, who earned her Bachelor of Science degree in physics from Jackson State University. She went on to continue her studies at Fisk in their Fisk Vanderbilt Master's to PhD bridge program, obtaining her master's in physics as well. Now she has made history as the first Black woman to receive a PhD in biomedical engineering from Vanderbilt, crediting JSU and their faculty members with inspiring her to pursue her studies through the Fisk Vanderbilt program and for helping develop her work ethic, training, and her ability to network with key stakeholders. Carson said she is honored to have achieved such a historic milestone. I am honored to become the first to accomplish this feat. I look forward to diversifying my industry and continuing the discussion of representation in high-level research environments, said Carson. She plans to focus her work on the professional research component, centering on translational research in cancer vaccines and immunotherapy. Carson was inspired to go to the particular sector after navigating her grandmother's personal experience with cancer, in which she underwent an immunotherapy clinical trial. Carson said the work was personal for her because she wants to make sure her research bridges the information gap for people in her community and family dealing with cancer. Translational research is more likely to impact the treatment of cancer patients directly. That's what I want to do. I want to have a direct hand in the treatment of cancer patients. I want to directly impact cancer patients with the hopes to improve the lives of people living with cancer, said Carson. Though her journey was not without its fair share of challenges, Carson found refuge in Black women mentors from other departments and was thankful for the support she received from the faculty at Vanderbilt. In her commencement address, she encouraged Vanderbilt's faculty to continue taking a chance on all their students, regardless of what prior institution they come from and what level of research they've already accomplished. Her goal is to continue advancing her medical research, eventually securing her MBA degree, and one day becoming a director of oncology. This is her hope that other young graduates will also maximize their educational opportunities, encouraging them to utilize all available resources, ask questions, and allow their professional connections to inform their pathway. Congratulations, Carcia.
That's pretty cool. You know what I really like about this story? Is the fact that we celebrate, traditionally we celebrate Black History Month in February, which is the shortest month of the entire year, which completely sucks. But what I like about this story is the simple fact that this is another Black history moment that's not in the month of February that we can celebrate going into the summer.
That's a very great point.
So, I think it's important that we highlight, or we do on, for RETV News in general, but I think it's important that we continue to highlight, African Americans and people of color who continue or doing things that are history making, that one, not just in the month of February, but we can celebrate them and acknowledge their accomplishments when they actually happened all year round.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that I really liked about this story. And so it's pretty dope that, Carcia is actually along the lines of those who graduated from an HBCU. So let's start there.
Yeah.
Before she went to Vanderbilt and did all her other stuff, but, graduated from an HBCU, first of all. And then two is on the lines or the front lines of those helping to ratify or get rid of whatever words you want to use, cancer. Considering cancer's been around for so long and there's been a lot of different treatments and different, things like that. I know we did a story a couple weeks ago about, a clinical trial that was happening with, I think it was colon or rectal cancer, something like that, where they were able to pretty much eliminate that from those particular participants, although there was a lot more research to be done. So for her to actually be studying, additional ways to help cancer patients from I'm gonna say the benefit, but I guess to help benefit them from the inspiration from her grandmother is just super dope.
It is. And the fact that, she's also aspiring to one day become a director of oncology, which I don't know how many, African American or people of color are directors of such a high a role. So congratulations to her. I know it was not easy, but thanking also Fisk for having that bridge program to work with Vanderbilt as well to give her the opportunity. So was greatly inspired by reading her accomplishment.
Yeah, super dope story. Again, congratulations, Garcia, for all your accomplishments. In our next story, another day, another way that Snoop Dogg is dominating the metaverse. According to trademark attorney Josh Gerben, it appears that the serial entrepreneur has filed a trademark for his virtual cannabis venture. Snoop Dogg made a filing claim on June 14th for Uncle Snoop's, per Gerben. The brand will include downloadable virtual goods, namely virtual cannabis, interesting, virtual smoking paraphernalia, and virtual clothing. Additionally, the brand is set to have a range of image, audio, and video NFTs, plus pre-rolled hemp cigarettes. Before his trademark filing, Snoop Dogg announced that he was teaming up with Mobland to bring digital weed farms to the metaverse, as previously reported by Afrotech. NFT 1.0 is about individual character and item. NFT 2.0 is about land and real estate. NFT 3.0 is about business and utility on top of the land and real estate, said Roy Liu, co-founder of Mobland, according to a press release. We are super pumped to pioneer with legendary Snoop Dogg by bringing digital cannabis and mass adoption to the metaverse and GameFi 2.0. We are looking for more ways to give back to the cannabis community. In conjunction with the announcement, it was revealed that Snoop Dogg and his own son, Cordell Brodus, who goes by Champ Medici, didn't know that, joined forces on a collaboration for digital weed NFTs. I quote, "I saw my father play video games my whole life. Cannabis and game controllers live hand in hand with him. That's why I think it's a no-brainer to bring to the metaverse the digital weed together," said Champ Medici in a statement. I quote, "If it's flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, be the best hamburger flipper in the world. Whatever it is you do what you have to do to master your craft." Excuse me. "I have been mastering my craft for decades. My son showed me the importance of collaboration with Mobland to introduce the first ever digital weed farm as NFTs. This is a paradigm shift happening here, and I want to be at the forefront of this," Snoop Dogg said in a press release. This is interesting.
Very much so.
Because I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Because, all right, so have a quick conversation. Okay. So I pretty much just got introduced to them. I knew of the metaverse, but really didn't dive into it. I knew it was this digital landscape or world where you live and you can do and be whatever you want to be. And I knew that people were selling land and companies were going there, and there was a lot of things you can do. And then you have the NFTs, which I recently understood. You buy these NFTs and you can place them in your land or wherever you have access to your world in the metaverse. And I'm still not completely sold because there's some things that I don't understand, and this is one of them, because I'm like, what do you do with digital weed? I'm like, what do you do with digital weed? Like,
it's for your avatar to enjoy.
See?
I'm sorry.
What do you do with digital weed like that?
It's no different than in any video game, and whether it's, let's say, a kid's video game for that matter, and they can go shopping, in their video game, or they can, eat, or whatever the case may be. It's not real, but it gives you that realistic feeling.
It does not. And the reason I say that
because you don't get the high or the benefits from it?
No, I don't know about the digital weed. But I will say the reason I say this is because so recently we bought an Oculus or Meta Quest 2, whatever you want to call it. But we bought it so we can actually go into the metaverse and see all of that stuff. And I've played around with it quite frequently and have gone into what's called Horizons World. And in Horizons World, you can actually go to like concerts. There's different meetup spots. There's quite a few different things you can actually do to socialize in the metaverse. You know, and your avatar is that person or whatever you create to go around and socialize, watch concerts, so on and so forth. And in one of the concerts, one of the concert venues, there's actually a bar. And in that bar, there's drinks and there's snacks and things like that. And I've gone to the bar and picked up snacks and picked up drinks free of charge, of course, and actually have tried them out. Did absolutely nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for the person who's actually wearing the goggles or the headset, and I'm going, oh, okay, this is interesting. Just for me to look cool, with a drink in my hand and some chips or whatever while I watch the show. Like
it's an optical illusion.
Yeah, but I would have personally preferred to have the chips and the drink myself.
Oh my
and I've
God.
tried to drink drinks and eat food while wearing my Oculus or Meta Quest headset or whatever. And yeah, because the cup hits the headset, so they're too big at this point in time. But so this whole weed venture, I'm not knocking what Snoop and Mobland is doing and his son are doing, because I think, like you said, it's on the cusp of new technology, on the cusp of new this, that, and the third. But it didn't do anything for me. Like the drinking and it was just a soda. It was like, hey, grab a soda and grab some chips and grab some cookies and drink and watch the show. And it was like, okay, cool. It was like cool to do it, but so to see somebody walking around smoking digital weed or to go to their digital weed farm, can I buy some weed and then you actually ship it to my house? Or
well, this could be the prototype to begin to test that, right? I correct myself, for only those states that are legal for recreation. Okay,
right.
So it's no different than drop shipping. You can now go into the metaverse and try on, your avatar can try on different clothes from actual clothing stores. If you like that, then you can order it right then and there, and it will be drop shipped to your home. So I could see that also happening for cannabis.
And I think that's a great idea. I think that's even that technology.
But you can't even try it if you go into.
But that was going to be so.
Today.
To the example you gave, I understand that, and the fact that you try on stuff, and I think even that technology has a ways to go, because what it looks like in your avatar won't look like you on you in the mirror or whatever in person. But even in this case, like, okay, so since marijuana, weed, whatever, Mary Jane, whatever you want to call it, is illegal federally here in the United States, legal in other countries, legal in certain states, and so on and so forth. Is it legal in the metaverse? Can you actually, because it is decentralized and it is legal. So does that mean at that point in time, I should be able to order it and still have it delivered to me?
That's a great point.
Because I ordered it.
I'm sure there's going to be people who would take that defense and try to use that in furthering the agenda of federal legalizing.
Snoop, Cordell, call me. We need to talk about this. We can work something out. We can figure out this whole metaverse, marijuana industry, the weed farms, RETV. Call me. info@re-tv.net or email me. I said call me, then I gave you email address. But yeah, email us. info@re-tv.net. We can figure this whole weed farm and digital, because I'm still confused. I need somebody to really make this make sense.
Think about it though. With any type of technology, there's always the ground or the grassroots level of just testing and trying things out to see if it works. And why not just test? They're just testing out a few things to see what's gonna stick, and whatever sticks is probably what they're gonna run with. But you won't know unless you try.
Call me. I'll test it out in the real world. I'll test it out in the real world. Because it's digital stuff.
When we get to California in about a month.
Something like that. I don't know. But because I'm still puzzled and confused by this whole, I like the metaverse. It's pretty cool. I enjoy watching concerts. We work out in the metaverse. I've had an opportunity to talk to my sister-in-law, my niece, and and hang out with them in the metaverse and things like that. I enjoy playing games. Like you said, Snoop's been playing games forever. Snoop and games kind of go hand in hand. So I'm with you. Email me. We can do some digital something and play games at this. I don't know. Next story, because I'm confused.
Or better yet, when RETV becomes available in the Metaverse, then maybe he can even, do some sponsored ads on your network for his product.
Again, that part I understand. But the digital weed farm and the digital marijuana, just doesn't make sense to me. You got to make it make sense to me. I don't know.
Don't knock it till you try.
I said, call me. I'll be a guinea pig. Let's go. Next story.
This joy makes the world go round. Watch a Louisiana dad surprise his visually impaired son at school in a new sweet viral video.
I showed up to Rossi's school and he was walking from lunch. He didn't see me and walked right past me. He brings me much joy.
Hey, Rossi. Yeah?
Hey, Daddy.
Ross Armstrong and his wife Victoria's son Rossi was diagnosed with an optic nerve hypoplasia, also described as an underdeveloped optic nerve that causes moderate to severe vision loss in children. Rossi was diagnosed before he was 3 months old and immediately started medication and therapy services. As a newborn, Rossi was hospitalized for jaundice, and we noticed his eyes were twitching. We don't know for sure what Rossi can see, but if you can imagine putting a slice of Swiss cheese over your eyes, you would have pockets of vision, Armstrong explained. Today, Rossi uses a cane to get around and attends the Louisiana School for the Visually Impaired. Recently, Ross and Victoria visited his school to film a campaign for the nonprofit Blind Grace. While there, they ran into Rossi on the way back to his classroom. Armstrong took to social media to share the moment he captured on video. In the video, you can see 5-year-old Rossi walking through the corridor alone, his dad waiting unexpectedly. Just as he passes him, Armstrong says, "Hi, Rossi." "Daddy?" Rossi says, as he stopped mid-stride. "Yeah," Armstrong responds. "That's Daddy. Hey, Daddy," Rossi exclaims as he walks towards the camera. "Had the opportunity to see my Rossi at school today. He was walking from lunch and I was waiting in his pathway. His excitement brought me happiness and I wanted to share it with all of you. He's so sweet," Armstrong captured in the post. To date, the video has been liked more than 4.5 million times, many taking to the comments to thank Armstrong for sharing the precious moment with the world. But the super dad didn't stop there. The next week, Armstrong made sure Rossi was taken to school in a big blaring red engine fire truck. Armstrong, a Baton Rouge firefighter, said he was grateful to the department for showing up for Rossi and treating him like the superstar he is. He hopes the content he shares with all of his children, Rossi, his 13-year-old son Jaden, and infant daughter Cece, will continue to make people happy. "I want these videos to be catalysts for joy," said Armstrong. "It definitely brought us joy, sending so much love to Rossi and the family."
Cool.
When I saw his videos, he is just like the sweetest, most infectious little boy that loves without boundaries. That's the first phrase that came to me. His first off, seeing the video of him at school and him hearing, not seeing, but hearing his dad's voice and immediately stopping, I melted.
Yeah, that's super dope.
And for him to embrace his dad because he was really excited that dad was at his school unexpectedly. And then there's another video during a rainstorm and it's thundering, and he is hypersensitive to sounds, but how his dad calmly talks him through things, or at least in this video, talked him through during the storm, that Rossi literally wanted to stay outside on the porch and embrace it. What he heard.
Yeah, for those who are visually impaired, their other senses are super heightened. So, and to be a young guy to not know exactly what those other things are is pretty wild. So for his dad to be that support system, as he should be, it's his dad, but to, just to see it in action,
it just melted my heart, and I thought it was great to just share the story with all of you. At the writing of this article, the video had only been seen 4 million times.
Okay.
But when I looked at it this morning,
4.5?
4.5. And
But
counting.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So, if Rossi was to go into the metaverse, would he be able to get digital cannabis to
No,
help?
because he's 5 years old.
They have CBD and there are cannabis products that are to help, visually impaired people
You
to
did
be
say
able
CBD.
to. Right.
What? No,
Or
you
I
said
said cannabis, which
includes cannabis with THC.
not all the time. Some people use it interchangeably. But I'm just trying to relate the two stories together here. Because we got Snoop and his digital cannabis and his digital weed farm. And we have Rossi, who's visually impaired. And there are visually impaired people who are prescribed marijuana or cannabis, whether it's CBD and or regular without, with or without THC, which is the part that actually gets you high or whatever. But would that help Rossi? I'm just saying,
I don't know. That's a good point to explore. I don't know.
Snoop, call us. Rossi, we'll be in contact so that way we can get Snoop in contact with you to figure out how we can merge this whole. I'm just trying to make the relationships happen
And
that
you
way.
make a good point though, because there are several strains out there that help people, especially children, that have epilepsy.
Epilepsy, PTSD, or
Yeah.
even with you mentioned his hypersensitivity to the sounds and so forth that are around him. It is a known fact that marijuana or cannabis or CBD. There are different strains of the cannabis plant that even help with anxiety or help with those things that might be able to help Rossi or other people who are visually impaired or have other ailments that may be able to help them in general. So while yes, I am being funny, I'm serious at the same time.
Yeah,
right.
there is a serious component to that because I suffer with anxiety and CBD has worked wonders for me.
Right.
So you may be onto something there.
So I'm thinking digitally, not necessarily digitally, but I'm thinking forward like Snoop is in this metaverse. How could, there is a commercial now that is played, and I think it may be a metaverse commercial where they talk about how this doctor will be able to practice so many times in the metaverse before she's able to, do it realistically in real life in an actual medical room or operating room. There are kids who are traveling to multiple countries and that they, and back in time where they're able to do things in the metaverse that they're not really able to do in real life. So I'm thinking, this is the serious part of it, what ways in which Snoop's cannabis farm or, other people's, things could be able to help people such as Rossi be able to either have a different life in real life or be able to experience things differently, based on the technology of cannabis or cannabis farms or anything like that in the future. See, y'all think I'd be joking.
Okay,
this is RETV News with a spin.
I like that.
See,
That was a nice spin.
We don't do news like everybody else. We do news the RETV way, and we gonna mix some stuff up. You hear us fumble words, statements, and so forth. But we also, think about things forward-wise, and
Yeah, I like that. I've always said you're brilliant, so.
Tell your people to turn into RETV News, because we futuristic over here. But no, real talk though.
Next time we should do the news from our avatars.
That would be pretty interesting. If there's a way to do that, there's a way to do that. We will have to try to look and see if we can get in contact with Snoop and Rossi in the metaverse. I'm just saying, to smoke some digital weed. No, I'm kidding, but I'm serious. But yeah, my man Rossi and his dad. That was a great story about Rossi and his dad, and it's very touching. I hope you all enjoyed the video as well. Does he have a social media page where they can see more of it, or
he does?
You have to.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Post that down below.
Cool beans. In our final story, a unique mixer was held Sunday in Memphis where black men shared cigars and spirits while discussing mental health and fatherhood. CBS 24 reports Black Men Crowned and 100 Black Men of Memphis organized Cigars and Conversations, a Havana mix in an early celebration of Father's Day. It's like we're the forgotten ones. So I think it's important for the attendees to feel honored and celebrated for their paths they've created. for the journeys that they have been started and where they continue to go as Black men. An organizer told CBS 24, the event featured Black dads discussing the mental health of fathers and sons, changing the narrative around Black fathers and the importance of celebrating fatherhood. Fatherhood for Black men typically includes discussions with their children on racism, the police, and widespread discrimination in several industries and areas including education. Black Men Crowned, a nonprofit celebrating and recognizing the successes and achievements of Black men in the Mid-South, said, the mental health of Black men is paramount to their success, and the biggest challenge is Black men asking for help. I quote, through our platform, we often touch on the topic of mental health amongst Black men in particular, the group said in social media posts. Being strong includes being vulnerable enough to admit you need help. We hope that this as an organization continues to grow. We can influence others to feel comfortable addressing issues that may plague them. 100 Black Men of America has 5 chapters across Georgia to help Black men realize their potential and assist their communities through education and entrepreneurship. According to the Institute for Family Studies, Black fathers are more involved than Hispanic dads, share more responsibility, and generally co-parent better than white or Hispanic non-residential fathers. However, they also face numerous barriers keeping them from being stable to provide consistent support to their children.
Wow. I would have loved to have just been a fly on the wall in that Cigars and Conversations, just because I have always thought it's so intriguing to listen to Black men have discussions about what's important, you know, having those heart-to-heart discussions about what's important to them and what they're facing and how we as Black women can support them in their endeavors. So I know that was just probably dynamite.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I know, for instance, there's a show that comes on RETV called Millionaire Man Cave. And to your point, it is a platform where, the men of that particular show do talk about things that, that ail or bother them, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whether it's relationships, whether it's parenting, and those things as well. So I encourage anybody who's watching to tune in on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. to Millionaire Man Cave to get that sneak peek behind the conversations of what men are actually talking about when they're by themselves, where, unfortunately, women are not invited or not involved. But I'm pretty sure that this particular mixer that was done down there in Memphis with the Black men, that is phenomenal. I really wish, like you said, that it could have been recorded. And I know there, for privacy reasons and probably for comfortability reasons, that may be why it was not recorded or anything like that. But I would definitely, going back to the metaverse, this is an opportunity, in my personal opinion, where these conversations can be had in an environment where it can be just men or men or men and women or young men or whatever the case may be, that will include, outside of Memphis, outside of the Atlanta area, things like that, where people can have these conversations and it be effective to not just those in that specific community, but could be effective to African-American Black men or Black men in general everywhere.
Because while you're in the artificial reality worlds, you can have conversation, right?
Oh yeah, you can literally have a conversation like you are now having a conversation right now.
Okay.
It's just you will be speaking, through your avatars, and your avatar's mouth moves and all this stuff, and you can grab you something to drink and some digital weed and sit down and have a whole conversation. No, I'm serious. You probably could grab a digital cigar and some drinks or whatever, and truly sit down and have some thought-provoking conversations in different environments that have been created. And I'm pretty sure all of that will be coming if it's not already out there, because there are a bunch of things out there in the metaverse. But I definitely think that would be dope to be able to see the Black Men Crowned or the 100 Black Men of Memphis or even Millionaire Man Cave in the metaverse or something like that, to be able to have these conversations in the metaverse to include a greater audience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that would be super dope to be seen and
Most
to be
certainly.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to, again, Black Men Crowned and 100 Black Men of Memphis, as well as the chapters across the Atlanta or the Georgia area for the Black men as well that are fostering these conversations that truly need to be had, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month, which I believe was last month, but even having it outside of Mental Health Awareness Month, it was 365 year round, because mental health awareness is something that we definitely need to be having conversations about and taking seriously all the time, because you never really know what people are going through, and these conversations spark people to get help. These conversations are help for some people, especially within the African American male community, where we do not talk to people. Right. We do not go see therapists. We feel like we have to be able to bear all of that weight on our shoulders, and it's really killing us silently.
That's a great point. This may be a story that we can bring, in the future. But now I've seen where in a lot of our African American barbershops, barbers are now licensed therapists, because a lot of that type of conversation happens in the chairs with their clients, which I think is a brilliant idea, because it's a safe space for men and young boys who enjoy that camaraderie in that space. So why not have the barbers be certified, in mental health? I think it's definitely a great bridge and a great idea.
I've seen them where they're not only certified in counseling or mental health, but also some of them are certified as actual physicians to be able to help their I don't say patients, but their clients, to come in and say, hey, let's go, get you checked out in the back while you wait for your haircut, or before you leave, whatever the case may be, because it's important that, the stigma around African American men being here in families is so jacked up, when it comes to media and television and so forth, that people think that it's okay for Black men to not be, in the homes with their kids and their wives and so forth. But to break that stigma by going to these barbershops where we get our hair done, or our hair, haircut, or whatever the case may be, and have these conversations and realize, yo, you're just like me and going through something similar as me, and we can go get help together at the barbershop or in the Metaverse or wherever it may be, that people feel comfortable to be able to have conversations, get, mental health or mental health help, or whatever the case may be. I think that's definitely, dope. And, it will change the way people see Black fathers or Black men and so forth in the family, because right now we're used to seeing them locked up. We're used to seeing them, have the baby and just dip out, or whatever the case may be. And that's not the truth. There are a lot of African American men who are in their kids' lives, who are in their wives' lives, who are in the household being providers, who are being, protectors, who are being everything faithful, exactly, who are being everything that men need to be in the household, to be, for their, not just their household, but their communities. But that's not what's typically shown. So I salute, again, these organizations. I salute these media companies, and so forth, that are changing the narrative about, what African American men are doing in the roles that they're playing in their communities and households.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Deep show, funny, deep show, because there's some stuff that we really need to look into as far as the metaverse, as far as, mental health and all of those good things. And I really hope that you all take an opportunity to, take a look into some of these stories, as, for yourselves. And we appreciate you all for tuning into this week's episode of RETV News Break.
Be sure to subscribe to the RETV YouTube channel and Facebook pages for more great news and shows.
Also, RETV is available on Roku, which we are getting into more barbershops to have these conversations, as well as hair salons for women as well. So you can download the RETV Roku channel today to watch this and many other entertaining and educational shows. We look forward to seeing you again next week right here in RETV. And until then, be blessed and be great.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on RETV, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?
Tune in to Millionaire Man Cave, only on Relationship Entertainment Television, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.